Hello and welcome to my channel. It's been a while since I've done a video, but that's the way it goes. Yeah, I've been down in Pittsburgh all week and there is no view down there. Literally about 60 degrees, you know, because you're always up against some hill and it's crazy down around there. But I'm driving home and I decided I am going to at least do one. Of course, I'm going to have a busy weekend catching up because I go back out of town next week. Working out at Carnegie Mellon University. So, it's quite a drive. But anyways, I had a good opportunity came up in the way the clouds look in the sky to explain how electromagnetics ties into the clouds and the atmosphere levels and storms, all that. Now, meteorology and science, they've all, you know, I'm not doubting anything they're saying in the sense of at what level of information they give us, you know, wind, atmosphere levels, you know, all that stuff, you know, updrafts, downdrafts, hail, you know. Well, I'm good with that. But what I'm going to do is, what they fail to do is give us what's behind all that, you know. What is wind? Stuff like that. What is clouds? Yeah, they say, you know, dust and moisture. That's fine. But why are the clouds behaving this way? Why do they have, like an example here, they are quite rhythmic. But, you know, most of the time they have a flat bottom, you know, from our point of view. And I'm going to explain why that happens. And this, you know, having the clouds line up like this and the temperature is about 65 or so degrees. All the summer haze is gone. And now what we're seeing is just all electric haze. Why can I say it's all electric haze? Because what's missing in all this time I've been showing you here in this 2 minutes and 45 seconds of recording this video, what have you not seen? And I'm going to keep panning around and just kind of point out a fact of where they fly. The temperature stays the same year round, regardless of what season it is down here. Where they spray or not spray in this case. So how is spray normal or a condensation trail? Anyways, just wanted to point that out. Anyways, alright. Now, as you can read online, there are different layers of atmosphere. And I don't remember all the names, and that's not important. You can look that stuff up. It's widely known information. It's available. Now, what I do know is there are 2 layers, 2 parts per layer. Let's just say this layer here is between us and the clouds. Okay, that's one part. And then the cloud, where the clouds reside, that's the second part of one layer. Say this layer is called the stratosphere, you know, from the ground to just below the clouds. And then where the clouds reside, that would be the stratospheric skin. And then you'll have another thick part of a layer, and then you'll have another skin in between, separating each wide layer or wide band of atmosphere. Okay? Now see, the clouds, they reside in those skin zones. And that is why they move horizontal or parallel to the ground. So you may ask them what's going on in between those skin layers. Well, I'll get to that. And that's where those jet stream-like or strong wind currents that moves these clouds along, right? I mean, that's where that, it's like a jet stream layer. You go on null school and you can look at different pressures, which is kind of like different atmospheric levels, and see what the wind currents are currently and even in advance, because they do forecast that stuff. It's a very interesting website. I'll put a link in the description. It's null school. If you search that, you'll probably find it. It's a globe, and then you've got options of other particulates and air, water currents, ocean current stuff. It's really neat, and it's free, and it's just on a browser. All right, so now how does this pertain to electromagnetics? I've rambled on enough. Let's get to it. Now, from my understanding of watching scientifically and how he explains electromagnetics, this is my understanding. Now, the thick part of the layer, say the stratosphere from the ground to the bottom of the skin, that is all vertical vortexes, and they're alternating. You know, if you were to take a picture, a piece of paper, and you draw it, you'll have two vortices, and they're opposite directions. So the fat side is next to the skinny side of your vortex next to it. So it's kind of like Christmas trees. Imagine a Christmas tree right here, okay? Perfect example. Now cut that one off, flip it 180, and it fits in right next to its buddy, right? And then you take that one and you cut it off and you flip it over to the other side of this one, and it fits just perfectly, right? Now imagine those Christmas trees lined up like that. That is what is in the thick layer between the skin and the ground, or the skin and the next layer, and that applies to each thick layer, okay? Vertical vortices or vortexes, and they're spinning opposite directions, moving matter in opposite directions that they are spinning. They're clockwise and counterclockwise. Now, the skin layer where the clouds reside, that is double helix energy flowing horizontally inside that skin area. It's like contained. So that is your explanation of wind. Wind is double helix energy flow. You can see this all the time. Follow a tractor trailer in and it's raining with really wet roads, and you will see the spray come off and form swirls, like Ezekiel's wheel or a DNA helix formation, a spinning, a rotation. So that's what's happening to push the clouds. The energy is flowing the opposite direction. The clouds are going because energy pushes matter in the opposite direction. So that's wind. So in the skin layer, you're talking horizontal. In the thick layer in between it, you're vertical. And that's the difference. That's my understanding. So, and then you have a vertical, then a skin, then a vertical, then a skin. So when you're looking at multiple layers of clouds, that's what you're seeing. And those vortice size and double helix obviously can vary, because storms still reside in that skin, like your big thunderstorms and even their hurricanes. And you can see that they're restricted. So those layers do vary in size depending on pressure and all that. So that's how electromagnetics and energy flows and ties into our clouds and atmosphere and stuff. It's really neat. So I covered how clouds and all that move around, the atmosphere layers, spray. That was another thing I wanted to bring up. There was another part, but I don't remember it. Oh, another thing to explain the vertical, say in thunderstorms in the plains, right? Tornadoes. Tornadoes are those vertical vortices. It's just that one you happen to be able to see it. It's the strongest one in there, in that cell. So that means they're kind of spread apart. So that's why you're seeing tornadoes. That's the same thing. Also, when we're looking at energy flow, see the corn way down here, right down here, right along in here. Okay, so it used to be some over here. You remember from my last video, this was full of corn too. So I want to just throw in how corn is double helix energy flow too. Now, as you will learn on my channel, that energy is leaving the earth. It doesn't come into the earth from the atmosphere. It's coming from the core and leaving the earth. And that tree is an example of that. This tree is an example of corn. That's the exact same thing. Energy is leaving the earth through the seed and gives it the energy to grow, and as like I've explained many times, energy going in one direction, matter goes the other, right? So energy is flowing out of the earth, matter is coming down and forming the plant, and where the energy and the waves are is how your plant formed. Like your leaf, the corn kernel, that is a halo wave. That's no doubt. It's the pine cone, same as these trees. It's a halo wave. The leaves on the corn plants, that is a it's Ouroboros. I gotta say Ouroboros. I'm having a brain fart on that, on the leaves, because it's a little different. Other examples of plant life are much better. It's not a wave, halo waves. Like leaves are Ouroboros as well. So they're just different shapes, and that's determined at the genetic level how your plant is going to, or tree or whatever grows, is how it shapes. We know that from magnetic signatures. Every corn plant over there, if you look at it, is unique, just like we are, because everything in magnets is unique. Just like every tree is never the same tree, never the same corn stalk, never the same bush, never the same blade of grass. It's always unique. Never the same person, never the exact same deer or squirrel. They're all, it's the exact same thing. It's all magnetics, determined at the DNA level, like your fingerprints. Alright, this is another little video I'll probably throw at the FAQ section and the electromagnetic playlists. So if you're kind of new to my channel and you have some questions, I have created playlists. I'm just trying to block out the sound of my hands. I suggest you do that, and obviously check out AngryCatfish Briggs. He's the man. He does his live streams on Catfish Corner, YouTube, and of course scientifically. I recommend 2 playlists, but the main one, the motion of everything a field defined, and there's the video and the huge playlist. You get through that one, and you're gonna be, if you're looking for this information, you're gonna have your mind blown. It's quite interesting to finally understand how our planet works, how our solar system works, how our sun works. And I don't need a scientist to tell me that. I figured it out on my own. And I'm not bragging, it's just, I've always been interested in it, and it just feels good to be able to understand it and on my own. And you guys can too. It's not rocket science. I mean, it's information that is just so makes sense, so common sense, so easy to work with. It seems like it's hard because we've all been trained a certain way, to look at something a certain way or interpret it. That you've gotta, once that first domino falls that breaks through the barriers, it'll come together for you. Then they all start falling, and then you're just like, oh man, that makes perfect sense. So that's what these videos are for, is to help you all get the information. Even if you think I'm full of shit, at least my information is good about what's going on with our Earth and how it works in our solar system and stuff. So I will see you all when I make my next video. Probably this weekend. I'll at least get one more out for you homebrewed addicts. Eric. So talk to you later.